friends, welcome to episode 163 of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. My name is Kalisha and you can find me anywhere online as Indira Tani. I am coming to you today from my home in Central Florida where I will just give y'all a heads up. A neighbor is mowing their lawn. As soon as I brought myself out here to podcast, it became lawn cutting time. Also, if I don't do this now, it's not going to get done, so there will be a lot of background noise. Hopefully it's not as bad in recording as it is to my ears. Today is February 17th, and yeah, it's a nice day outside. It's kind of cloudy. The sun is probably going to set in the next 30 to 45 minutes, so hopefully I can get everything done quickly. If you're a returning viewer, wish me luck, because y'all know that I'm a talker. And if you are a new viewer, welcome. I hope you find something here that you can connect with. So we will jump right into admin. So today is February 17th. That means tomorrow, February 18th, is the beginning of Pisces season. Yay! And that means it's also the beginning of the Pisces season make-along. So I will put the information about the Pisces season make-along here. It is an annual make-along that we run here on the Quirky Monday Craftcast, where we celebrate anything Pisces related, whether that be patterns or projects that are specifically themed after the zodiac sign, or patterns and projects that are water themed, marine themed, blue and green colored, anything like that. We are here to celebrate all of those things. You can use the hashtag Pisces season MAL 2023 and share your projects on Instagram. I have had a couple kind viewers reach out to me about donating prizes, so we'll be working that out. End of the sentence. So thank you so much to those people who reached out to me. I really appreciate that. The Pisces season make-along goes until March 20th, and I am excited to get started. I haven't specifically planned my Pisces season make-along projects yet, but trust and believe I will be working on figuring out at least my first project tonight. One thing that I love about the Pisces season make-along is that it is a true make-along. However you make is fair game. So it doesn't have to be just fiber related. So if you want to do like watercolor art or sculpture, or I don't know, paint pour, whatever, you have at it. If it's Pisces themed or water marine themed or in the colors of the make-along, it can be entered. You are able to use works in progress as long as they are less than 50% done. That's all I ask with the works in progress. Yeah, so Pisces season make-along. I honestly can't remember how many years we have done this make-along, but every time we do it, it just brings me such immense joy to start seeing people's projects popping up on my Instagram feed. So if you are a Pisces season make-along alumnus, I appreciate you for being here. So the next bit of admin is our bright spots, as usual. So if you are new here, bright spots is a section of the podcast where I share good things that you all leave in the comments of the previous podcast video. That was the best introduction to bright spots I have ever done. I just need y'all to give me a moment of applause on that intro to bright spots. Normally I'm stumbling all over it. That time was just, anyway. So yeah, I went through the comments of last episode and I screenshotted some bright spots, and I'm going to share them with you now. So we've got Susan. Susan says, my bright spot is getting kitty hugs from my cat, Buzz Buzz. She's going to be 10 in May and would let me be her human pillow 24/7. Marianne, a big bright spot is you doing the suicide prevention walk and advocating for mental health. My other bright spot is that I remembered I have one of your project bags, and just put the hat I'm crocheting from a Tony Lipsy pattern in it. So I will have 2 entries in the Black History Month now. That's awesome. The Black History Month now is a make-along that is being hosted by the Black Knitter. It runs all February. You get entries by using patterns, yarn, or project bags that were designed, dyed, or made by Black makers. Black History Make-along. Black History Month Make-along. And I'm glad that my participation in the Out of the Darkness walk a couple weeks ago was able to be a bright spot for you. So, thank you. Little Mitch Stitches says, my bright spot is publishing my first podcast episode and people actually watching it, as well as getting to go to Vogue Knitting Live this weekend. It was so great to finally be around some yarny friends again. I definitely made a mental note to go check out your podcast, which I'm going to do after this. And then I got distracted, which is the only reason I haven't watched it yet. So I will be skedaddling over there. Got those bright spots. Okay, last bright spot is from Courtney's Crochet Creations. It says, my bright spot is my daughter had a swollen lymph node in her neck. Every test came back negative, which made everyone think of the big C, aka cancer. She had surgery last week to remove said lymph node to do further testing. She had her follow-up yesterday, which was February 9th, and all testing came back negative, including cancer. Super big congratulations, and I'm so happy for your daughter. Courtney, I'm glad that everything came back negative and that she'll be able to get back to normal. That is a huge blessing. So, and those are all of our bright spots for last episode. So if you would like to have a bright spot shared on the podcast, definitely leave it in a comment. Bright spots can be anything that makes you light up, anything that makes you feel good, makes you feel uplifted, encouraged, something good that happened, anything like that. And I always encourage you all to read other people's bright spots who are in the comments and celebrate with one another. Because all too often it's easy to get bogged down with negative things that are happening around us and in our lives and things like that, that we lose sight of the good things. And also we can lose sight of the fact that good things are happening in the world around us. And that's what I want bright spots to be. I want it to be a place where the good things are focused on and highlighted and lights are shown. So that is that. That's everything for admin. And we are going to get into some craftiness. Finished objects. I have some finished objects, and your girl is bigly proud. I don't even know, that's not even a word, but that's the only word that came to my mind to express how proud I am of myself and this first finished object. Like, bigly proud. So last episode I showed you guys the shirts that I did on my silhouette for the Out of the Darkness walk. So because I was getting restarted with my silhouette, I wanted to keep that energy going. And, I wanted to make something that was very cliche. So of course I wanted to make something plant and space related. And I have a sweatshirt that says, I need more space for my plants. And it has, as I remember, an astronaut like floating in space. There's like a planet, an astronaut floating in space, and they're holding a like a potted plant, and there's like maybe other plants around or something. You get the gist. So I wanted to make something like that for myself, so I did. And I made it into a tote bag. And just now that I'm about to show it to you, I'm about to be using this for everything. Oh, it looks so good. Oh, so it says my plants need more space, and I created this image on Canva, and I used a clip art of a potted, like it's a line art of a potted monstera, and then a planet. And I did some overlaying, and then had to like do the, you know, fixing up to take out the lines that weren't unnecessary, a little bit of, you know, adjusting here and there to make it look the way I wanted it to look, added the text. I went through so many font faces before I settled on this one. And then when I got to the point of cutting this out using the silhouette, like cutting out the thing, then you have to like pick away or like weed away all of the vinyl that you don't want to be ironed onto the thing. I was cussing myself for choosing this thin font. Like, bruh, nope, not never again. If I do this on something else, this is gonna be bold. It's gonna be something thick and chunky, because this thinness, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But it's beautiful. Not gonna do it again. But oh my goodness, I am so stinking proud of this tote bag. So it is a tote bag. The only thing that I don't really like about this tote bag is that I got it in a set of 3 from Joann, and it's actually very thin. Yeah, you can see, look, you can, and then of course the light changes. You can see the handle through that fabric. So I think what I'm going to do is line it with, I don't know, it might be enough to just line it with a regular cotton to give it more structure. Or I might do an interfaced lining so that it'll be a little bit thicker, and then I won't have to worry about the integrity of this bag, because it's rather, yeah, it's rather thin. Like you can see the wall. But I'm incredibly proud of this. Like, so yeah, I do need to, I was looking at it today because I showed it to my dad. I was FaceTiming him and I showed it to my dad, and I did find a piece on the edge of the planet that I didn't iron down enough, so I need to go back and do some more pressing on it to make sure that it's like really fused. But after I press it again, I'm gonna have to take a picture of it and send it to my aunt that gave me the silhouette, so that she knows, you know, the tool is being used. But and I absolutely love this neon green on the black. I wasn't, like, when I chose the neon green, I wasn't 100% sold. I kind of felt like maybe I should do white, but I'm really glad that I stuck with the green. It's perfect. Woo! I think that's it. And like, even now thinking about lining this bag, I could line it with a really cool planty fabric. Yeah, I'm doing that. I'm going to find a super awesome planty fabric to line the inside of this bag with, and it's just gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing. I'm super excited about this. I'm just, oh, I love it. Should I put a zipper in it? Nah, it doesn't need a zipper. So there's that. On the same, like, still along the lines of using my Cricut, Oh, there was one thing I wanted to say about this, which also comes into the next thing. So this vinyl, it's the neon iron-on vinyl, and I got it from the Dollar Tree. Now, when Dollar Tree first changed their prices from $1 to $1.25, I was salty. I was really upset about it because I was like, how y'all just gonna raise the price like that? Like, that's a lot, Dollar Tree. And then Dollar Tree has been getting like stuff that I'm like, okay, I see why it's $1.25. I'm not mad. I'm not mad anymore. I got this vinyl from the Dollar Tree. They also had neon pink, yellow, and orange. So pink, yellow, orange, and green neons. And then last night, I had stopped at the Dollar Tree for something, one that I don't normally go to, and I found gold glitter iron-on vinyl at the Dollar Tree. And it is definitely a you get what you pay for kind of situation. The vinyl that I used for my shirts was not from the Dollar Tree, and it was way easier to weed. It wasn't as, I don't know, it didn't feel as fiddly. The vinyl was maybe a little bit thicker as well. But if I'm just making projects for myself, I'm gonna go to the Dollar Tree. The only thing is I wish that they had other colors that were not neon. That's the only thing. But yeah, thumbs up for that Dollar Tree iron-on vinyl. And that will bring us into our second project, which is also vinyl from the Dollar Tree. So, well, this is a faux leather that is sold at the Dollar Tree for your cutting machines. I forget exactly what it was called on the packaging, but it's basically just a roll of like faux leather. And so when I saw it, I'm the kind of person that if I see something like a craft supply and I'm inspired by it, I'm gonna buy it, even if I don't have an exact plan for how I want to use it, especially if it's somewhere like the Dollar Tree where I know that stuff does not last. So this, we'll just call it pleather. I think it's like, I don't remember. This pleather, it is, I think the sheet sizes that they sell them in, it's like a 12 by 12 sheet. And they had brown, black, white, navy blue. So of course I got all the colors, because who knows what I'm gonna do. The first thing that I thought to do was this little needle case. So I can't remember where I saw it, but somebody on some podcast had a needle holder that was made of leather, and it was like a folding like book situation. And I was like, that's kind of cool. And at the time, I had lost all of my yarn needles. I still have no idea where the little packet of yarn needles is. I lost that thing. So I had to buy new ones. So because I had bought new ones, I wanted to make myself a needle holder thing that was essentially too big to get lost. So I made this. Now originally it was going to be like a book like this, and I was gonna tie the little thing like this so that it was flat, but when I had it glued together and was like letting it dry, I folded it like this, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cute, and I never unfolded it, so it is permanently creased like this. I'm not mad at it. This was not the original plan, but it's fine. So what I did was, I'll tell you my original plan and then how we got here. So I set up in the Silhouette software a rounded corner rectangle, and then I made little like circles all the way around the edge. Then I created this strap shape and put, you know, the little circles in the middle, because the plan was going to be to cut 2 of these, like mirror it, cut 2, let the machine cut out all the little holes, and then stitch it together, and then we were gonna stitch the strap on so that there wouldn't be like any other binding or anything like that. It would just all be sewn together. I made the holes too small so that even though my machine sat there and went doo-doo-doo, 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 doo-doo-doo on every one of them little dots, and there's not a hole anywhere. Whatever. So then, problem solving. I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to sit here and manually punch these holes. So I'm just going to glue them together. So I used fabric glue or like PVA glue or something like that. And I glued my pieces together. And then I took a piece of felt and I glued it around the edges, let that dry, whoop de whoop, wop de wop, here we are. Now, as you can see, that's not even. I definitely want to make another one of these, but this one is fine. So the energy to make another one is kind of non-existent. The last finished object I have are my little Wolfie socks, and I'm so excited about them. Yeah, I even blocked them, which says a lot because I don't be blocking socks at all. I soaked, I blocked, I laid flat to dry. These things are flat as paper, and I almost don't want to put my little feet in them. But look at my babies. Is that a mosquito that just flew into my face? Let's get these lined up properly so that you can see the difference between sock 1 and sock 2. All right. And he keeps just cutting up here in the front. Like, sir, you do not have that much front yard. Why? All right, so if this is your first time seeing this, these socks are dedicated to my dog Kiva. She had a marking on her hip that looked just like this, and I call it her little Wolfie. So I took a picture of her marking, overlaid a graph on it, created a chart, and I knit my little Wolfie socks. So I wanted to do, there's a heart at the top, obviously, a heart, and then this is a dog bone. I showed these to my dad, and I showed him this, and he was like, oh, it's a milk bone. I was like, all right, good. It looks like a dog bone, because it doesn't look like a dog bone to me. This one looked even less like a dog bone. This one looks like a socket wrench or something, like a, you know, like a wrench. That's what that looked like to me. So whatever, it's fine. So the yarn. So the brown yarn is Wool Miser, and this yarn was given to me by Hannah of the Cozy Cottage Crochet, and she said she gave me this and a cream color yarn because they reminded her of Kiva's colors. And this cream yarn is not the yarn that Hannah gave me. This is actually sweet tea yarn, I think, by Molly Klein Design. It was given to me by a podcast viewer a long time ago. But it is the eggnog colorway, I believe. And it's basically a cream with little brown speckles kind of through it. And Kiva was brown with cream colored markings. And in the cream markings that she had little speckles. So I thought that this yarn was perfect to represent her. So yeah, that's how they worked out. When I blocked them, the brown yarn did bleed up a little bit, but I legitimately don't care. Like, and I, like, as much as I love these socks and I love that they represent my puppy baby, I don't even know if I would wear them. I just want them to stay perfect. Or maybe like I'll wear them if I'm like having a day where I particularly miss her, which I've had a couple of those over the last couple weeks where I just like deeply miss that dog. But yeah. So the little Wolfie socks are done. Don't they look, oh my gosh, they look beautiful. I ain't woven in Nan in, which is true form for Kalisha, but I blocked them. I love it. So those are all of my finished objects. So let's jump into works in progress because we are losing the light. The first work in progress is, well, on the lines of Kiva. I'm going to put in a picture of my Kiva blanket. I'm making a blanket that is in Kiva's colors. And I am using my Just Feel Better shawl pattern. And I'm making 4 of those and seaming them together into a blanket. I'm like halfway through the 4th blanket, or the 4th blanket. I'm halfway through the 4th shawl. So I'm not gonna say when it's gonna be done, because last episode I was like, oh yeah, I'll be done with this by the next episode. And then these works in progress like took my entire soul. So it's in progress. So that is the Kiva blanket. Once I get the whole body of the blanket done, I'm gonna put rows of her colors, and then I think end it with a row of red, because she wore a red collar. So I think that's what I'm gonna do for ending the blanket, or bordering the blanket. And then there's a weed whacker. Of course. Sorry, it's nighttime, go inside. Hi friends. So we're in the room, I'm sitting on my bed. There's gonna be bouncing, because I'm also joined by this little nugget. Hello, Terror Nugget. Hi. You gonna say hi to your adoring fans? The internet loves themselves some Tootie. Is your mouth dry? A little bit. I know we didn't go on our walk today. I'll take you tomorrow. All right. Okay, so what was I talking about? Works in progress. So I showed you all the Kiva blanket, and the next project is actually my project for the Black History Make Along, and it is the Olori sweater tee by La Knits, and I am making it using, I don't forgot the yarn again. There's one. Lion Brand Heartland in the Kings Canyon colorway. So this is the yarn that I'm using to make this sweater tee. I'm on my second ball, and this is how far I have gotten. Ooh, that's gonna look cute. So originally my plan was, for this to be a crossover project for the Pisces season make along, but I am more than halfway done. At least that's what I'm telling myself. I have split the sleeves, and I've worked, what's that, maybe 3 inches down the body. Yes, it's got a wide neck, which I really think I'm going to like. Short sleeves because Florida. And the raglan shaping is done with eyelet increases, so that's a nice little detail as well. Another thing that I really like about this pattern, and the designer also mentions it as like a specific detail, is that you know how typically when you make a sweater, especially if you're doing a top-down construction, you get to a point where you split for the sleeves, and then you can either continue on making the body and then go back and finish the sleeves, or you can just finish the sleeves then make the body, whatever. This sweater, you work the sleeve and the sleeve ribbing, and then you split and work the body. So you never have to come back and like work on the sleeves again. So once you're done, you're like done. So that's really cool. I can't pet you and talk to the people. She's like, yes, you can. I believe in you. Yeah? Okay. I will pet you with one hand. So yeah, that's my project for the Black History Make-Along. So it is a pattern by a Black designer, and it is currently living in this bag, which is by Chicken Coop Dye Works. And I got it in my Kwanzaa box. that I bought this past Kwanzaa. So what's this? Oh, papers. So I have been working on this. This is one of the projects that has just taken over my free time. High five? Yeah? Yeah. She's like, not high fives, Mom. Cuddles. Cuddles. Okay, let me put this away. So there's that work in progress. The next work in progress I want to show you guys is my birthday blanket. So my birthday is February 24th. And y'all see how demanding this little dog is? She just, yes. So my birthday is February 24th. And last year I thought, you know, I put together, like for Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted, I always ask for minis to make myself an advent calendar. And typically advent calendars, ma'am, lay down, you're shaking the camera too much. Typically advent calendars are 24 days. So I figured, let me use my advent calendar minis to make a blanket. So I added a mini for 25 so that I could have a squared off blanket instead of like a long skinny blanket. So I did 25 squares last year, and this is the square that I did. Let me find one where you can really see it. Oh, we'll just use this solid yellow. So this granny square pattern is called the chocolate box square, I think. Yes, it's the chocolate box square, and you can, I think there's a tutorial for it on YouTube if you just search chocolate box square. So it's essentially granny clusters, like one row of granny clusters, and then the next row is a single crochet, chain 3, single crochet in between each one of the clusters, and then you work those granny clusters into that chain 3 space. So what I like about it is that doing the rows that way, it lines all of your clusters up, which is kind of cool. Whereas in a traditional granny, they alternate. So your clusters will be in between the previous rows clusters. So this is kind of cool. It's like it gives you the energy of a granny square, but it's slightly different, which I am here for. So this was my blanket from last year, the big squares. And after I made all of my squares, I took all of the leftovers and made a magic knot ball with them. And then I crocheted in traditional granny stitch all the way around the whole thing until I ran out of yarn. So then this year I thought, oh, I can just add to it. But then I had to figure out how I was going to add onto the bordered blanket. There was a lot of thinking, a lot of pondering, and a lot of math. And then I finally figured each side of the blanket was 67 clusters. So what I decided to do was work up squares like this. Nope, you can't see that, Harley. Yeah, work up squares like this. And along the long side, they're 11 clusters long. So on each side, I will fudge one like cluster somewhere to make it work. So, yeah. So what I'm doing for my birthday colors or my birthday squares for this year is I'm using the eggnog yarn from my Kiva socks or from my Little Wolfie socks. And I'm doing these little flowers. What book was this from? I can't remember the name of the book that I got this pattern from. It's like 200 blanket squares or something. I'll put the title down here. But this motif is from the pattern Granny Square with a Twist or Granny with a Twist. So for that block, you do a flower and then you start working a traditional granny square around it. But because I wanted the whole blanket to look like it went together, I substituted the traditional granny square for the chocolate box pattern. So that basically means I'm starting off with a flower, and then I'm working the row of clusters, and then the row of chain loops, and then a row of clusters, etc. So just like that. I just saw a mistake. Huh? Did I fix that? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nope. It's fine. I held it up and I realized that, where is it? Right here, I skipped a cluster. Oh well. Luckily it was on the top, so I had my 11 clusters on this side, 11 clusters here, and 11 down here, so it's fine. That is my mantra when it comes to anything crafty. If I make a mistake and it's not like going to ruin the project, it's fine. So let me show you how it's looking thus far. So last year's blanket, the border, this year's blanket. And I feel like this year I have a lot more like lighter colors that I got for Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted. So here's 1 through 6. Oh, and basically what I'm going to be doing is adding 6 squares to each edge of the blanket, and then I'm going to go back and add in the corners. And I feel like I'm fairly certain that I'll be able to get the whole squares or the whole corner squares out of the remainder of the eggnog yarn. I'm calling that my Kiva yarn. So I'll have the Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted. So my wish is Advent with my Kiva flowers going around the whole square, and then the corners will be Kiva squares. So that was 1 through 6. Here is 7 through 12. And then I'm working on, what's that, 12, 13 through 18. Well, technically 13 through 17, because I'm trying to get caught up to where I am caught up to do 1 square a day. So here are the last 3. And we will go on from there. So the next colors that I'm going to be working on, it's living, this is the basket that my birthday blanket is living in. And the next colors, they're gonna go, I think this order. So 1, 2, 3. Now, the biggest difference between this blanket, this year's blanket squares, and last year's squares are considerably larger. So I have a lot of yarn left from the minis. So this is a 20-gram mini, and I haven't weighed this, but this is how much yarn is left after I do a birthday square from this year. So what I'm thinking about doing, and I came across this idea, or came up with this idea last night, was I keep all of the birthday minis together after I finish my birthday blanket, and then I can put squares from these into my Crochet Memories blanket. And then whatever is left, because it's not going to take this whole thing, whatever is left after I do the Crochet Memories blanket, I'm going to do a pair of socks. So I'll have an Advent pair of socks, I'll have my birthday blanket, and I'll have squares in my Crochet Memories blanket, all from my Wishes Advent, which just makes me feel really, really good to think that this yarn will be spread over so many projects. Like, it's cool to be able to use all of the yarn from a certain like collection of yarn in one project. So like my birthday blanket from last year. So I look at this blanket and I'm like, these are all of the minis that I got from Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted last year. And I used all of that yarn in this one project. But I think with this one, if I'm able to spread it across, it kind of makes it like a spread the love kind of moment. Like, does that make any sense? I feel like it does. But so these are all of the used minis. I am making my flower centers using a, do I make this the smaller one? Yes, I make the flower centers with a 4mm hook, and then the outsides with a 4.5mm hook. And yeah. And then these are the last 6 minis. There's 3. And there's 3. So I have a whole lot of like pale colors this year, and I find that interesting. And one thing I'm learning is that I don't gravitate towards pale colors like pastel, like muted colors, not really my jam. Neon colors are not really my jam either, but I do like saturated colors. So I guess it's always good to know like the type of colors that you like. And projects like this definitely help me to identify like the colors that I like, the tones that I like, stuff like that. So that's my blanket. Tootie is laying on part of it. So there you go. Enjoy. Yeah. Is that everything for works in progress? Yes, that is everything for works in progress. So we will move on to maker plans. I have, we'll say 1.5 maker plans. One is a definite has to happen, and that is I have to yet again resole my mom's slippers. So I made these slippers for my mom, I don't even know how many years ago. I've had to fix the soles on these maybe 3 or 4 times over the years, and she just keeps wearing them out, which is the best compliment for a maker, if I do say so myself. So what I've done in the past is like in, well, I know for sure that they have this at Michael's, but Michael's has like a little leather working section, and they have where you can buy scrap packs of leather. So I have purchased one of those before and cut, like hand cut the soles out of the leather that is in those like scrap packs. And right now this sole is made of two like sheets of leather, and then I have them, I hand stitched it to the slipper. I call myself using, I stitched it with Loops and Threads Wool-like, because I was like, you know, I didn't want to use a cotton yarn because I didn't want it to like break down super fast, but clearly acrylic isn't like doing it justice either. So I have to brainstorm that. Yeah, so this time what I was thinking about doing is finding, and I can't remember what craft store it was that I saw these in, but I've seen like leather slipper, like leather shoe bottoms, like slipper shoe bottoms that are meant to like be crocheted with. So like you have the bottom of the shoe and it's got the holes in it, and then you just crochet into each one of those holes and then build your slipper from there. So I figure I can, if I already have a slipper, I can get that and put it on there and then stitch it into there. And that might be better than this, especially since I think with that, the stitching is not on the ground, like does not come in contact with the ground, which as you can see, like my mom must walk on her toes because all of this is just worn all the way out. And it's like that on both shoes. So I need to resole her shoes again. And this is it's so cute because I made them, there is not a left and a right slipper, but you can tell by the way that she wears them that this is how she wears them. And so I need to get these back to her. I got these, like she gave these to me at Christmas when I saw her for my grandma's birthday. So I've already had them for 2 months now and have not started working on this yet. So I need to get on this so I can send these back to her and she can continue wearing out the bottoms. I'm so glad that she likes these things, man. I don't even remember what I made her these for. I don't remember if it was like a special occasion or what, but she loves them. And I love that she loves them. And yeah, so I got to fix those. And my other maker plan, which is like my halfway maker plan, is I kind of want to make one of those granny hexagon cardigans. You know, I recently started watching Michelle Jasic, I think. She used to be like Fancy Dinosaur Tea Party on YouTube, but she recently did a video where she made a granny square hexagon cardigan, and I have seen these before plenty of times. It's not anything new, but this time I looked at it and I thought, I need one of those in my life. It just looks so cozy, and I want one. There we go. So I don't know how strong of a make this thing now energy that Granny Hexy thing has. We'll see. Who knows? We'll see. So those are the only things that I have for maker plans. You know, let me know down below. Should I make a granny hexagon cardigan? I feel like I should. And I feel like you guys are going to be team make the thing. But let me know. What do you think? So next we've got stash positions. And I have 2 physical things and a pattern. So recently I was on Instagram and my twin, who is Whitney Marie Anderson, we're not really twins, but we might as well be because there are so many similarities between the two of us. It's ridiculous, but also super delightful. And I'm so glad that I have an internet twin. But yeah, so Whitney Marie Anderson, Whitney had posted about some bags that she was making, and I had been seeing her make these bags, but I assumed that they were a part of a kit or something that she was doing, because she does that a lot where she'll make a component of a kit that's like a bunch of other creators make things and all of the items are sold together as a kit. So I assumed that these were for that, but they were not. And she was like, you can get these on my website. And I was like, oh, skedaddled over there and bought myself one. Isn't this cute? This was my Valentine's gift to myself. It's a little heart pouch. And I don't know what it is about this print, but every time I look at it, I feel like it's one of those secret picture illustrations. Like, you know, the kind that when you look at it, it looks like a whole bunch of nothing and you have to put it real close to your face and then like unfocus your eyes and then bring it away slowly. And then suddenly out of the background of chaos, there's like a 3D image that pops out. You know what I'm talking about? This makes me think like that to the point that I've actually gone like, there's nothing there. It's not one of those things, but my brain keeps telling me that it is. My brain's a liar. But I got one of these. It's super cute. I can't say anything else. It's super cute. And then what I also got from her at the same time was her Bud and Prickle shawl pattern. So I'll put a picture of it here. And it is a shawl pattern that uses 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn. So I'm kind of playing around with the idea of using some of the singles yarn that I have in my stash now, because my singles collection has grown over the past, few months. And I always say this, but every time I mention singles, single ply yarn is very good to use with crochet because the twist of the yarn is the same as the direction that we yarn over when we're crocheting. So, fun fact. So I'm thinking about making that pattern with the singles that I have in stash, but we shall see how that goes. So the bag and the pattern, both by Whitney Marie Anderson. You should definitely check her out if you have not. She also is an awesome clay artist, sculpture artist, like just amazing. Just go to her website and just drool and like look at all of the amazing things that she's doing and support her, because we want her to continue making all of these amazing things. But yeah, so those are 2 of my stash acquisitions. Now the third stash acquisition is brought to you by my local thrift store. So I was in the thrift store, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago. And this particular thrift store tends to get a lot of craft supplies. And this one day that I went in there was all of this yarn, this type of yarn, and it's Lido. Let me find one that doesn't have stickers all over the front. It is Columbia Minerva Lido yarn. Comfortable cotton with a glint of glamour. It is 75% cotton and 25% viscose. So it looks like this, where you've got just the regular kind of cotton, but there's also like a glint of glamour. So the viscose gives it a shimmery, silky looking thread through it. And I just thought they were so pretty. So I wanted these 2 colors. This one is nectarine and this one is citrus. But this particular thrift store does this super annoying thing where they just like randomly mix the colors together. And in order for me to get like a reasonable amount of these colors, I had to buy like, I think I ended up buying 4 or 5 packs of like randomly grouped yarn. So I'll put in a picture here of all of the yarns that I bought together, and I put them in rainbow order, and then that just inspired me even more. So there's all the colors. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with them, but it's cotton yarn. So I'm thinking some sort of garment, a top, tank top situation maybe. And if that like epically fails, I can always do like a bag, because I am a bag lady. Those are all of my stash acquisitions. And that brings us right to the end of the podcast, to plant mama life and whatnot. So as you all would have seen when I was outside, next to me was a cute little plant. And this is the plant that was sitting next to me. This is my philodendron fuzzy petiole. Now, I will say, I don't like the fuzzy petiole. And that, like, a petiole is the stem between the like plant stem and the leaf. So like the leaf neck, that's a petiole. And this, as you might be able to see, it's fuzzy. Not my favorite thing, but these leaves, these big old hearts, I love it. So this is my Kiva plant. I actually bought this on December 22nd, and Kiva passed away on the 24th. So I bought this on the 22nd when I got off of work. Lamar had taken Kiva to the vet, and they were basically like, oh my gosh, like, here's medication to give her, like, she's in bad shape, etc., etc. So I bought a plant, and I bought this one specifically because it had the big heart leaves, and I just love that dog so much. And this is the first leaf that it has put out in my care, and it just made me feel really good, like my Kiva plant is alive and it's putting out a new leaf. So you can see a little neat leaf nugget there. This plant is definitely going to be one of those sentimental plants for me. So God willing, I can keep it healthy and happy. I do want to put it on a moss pole because right now it just has this stake, and it's like, it's wobbly. Like, it's real wobbly. And I have knocked this plant over twice in the past week. So I am just amazed and grateful that I did not break it, because yeah. So this is my Kiva plant. It is a philodendron fuzzy petiole, and just look at that leaf. Look at that heart. It's such a perfect heart. Okay, all right. So yeah, along with that one, the rest of my plants seem to be like waking up and stretching and like breathing new life into themselves and putting out these new leaves, and it just gives me so much joy on a regular basis. So hooray for the plantness. I went to a plant shop yesterday, actually the plant shop that I got that plant at, and I saw, what was it, a philodendron gloriosum? Nope, not gloriosum, melanochrysum. And I stood in front of that plant for probably a good 5 minutes. Like, am I gonna buy you? I think I'm gonna buy you. Should I buy you? I didn't buy it, but my birthday is coming up, so I might. The last thing for this podcast is just a little life and whatnot. Last weekend, actually last Thursday, I had to run an errand at work. I had to go to a office supply store. And while I was driving back, I saw a billboard that said Goo Goo Dolls, or basically that said that the Goo Goo Dolls were performing at Universal Studios for, what's it called? Mardi Gras. The Goo Goo Dolls were definitely one of my favorite high school bands. Favorite. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, when is it? And it was, I saw it on Thursday and they were performing Saturday night. So I immediately messaged Lamar because he works part-time at Universal. And I was like, babe, can we go to this? Is this a possibility? And he was like, let me check on it. He wasn't able to check until like Saturday morning. And he goes, oh, the park is they've blocked out, our employee tickets. So I was like, okay. And then he tried again and was able to get a ticket for me. And so Saturday night, I was able to go and see the Goo Goo Dolls perform live at Universal. And high school Kalisha was like so happy. Adult Kalisha was like, bro, I'm gonna need these people to stay away from me. High school Kalisha was just like, we were singing along with like nearly every song. Like, it was so good. It felt so good. I messaged one of my friends from high school who's also a huge Goo Goo Dolls fan. And she was like, dude, that is so amazing. I still listen to them when I want to feel young. And I was like, yep, that hits me deeply. So they did, you know, songs across all of their albums, right? And the last song that they did was Iris. And the only thing that I can like express about it, like how it felt, was like through the whole concert, you know, you're seeing the phones go up because people are recording clips and everything. You know, people are like waving their hands, singing along, stuff like that. When the music for Iris started, I don't know if they turned the lights down around where we were, but if this had been like the time of lifting a lighter for a song, everybody would have had a lighter at that moment. It was this beautiful feeling of oneness with all of these strangers and people who I will never know, but we were all together in that moment. And it was just delightful. Like, I was recording, I recorded a video of, you know, them singing, and then I turned the camera around to record myself singing. And behind me, there was like a couple and they're singing, and like, like I started crying and I'm all confused. Like, why are there tears coming out of my eyes? What is this? What is this water? Why is this? Am I feeling? I'm feeling. Max, I'm feeling. But like, it was so good. So good. So good. And I even did, like, I'm not a crowd person. Even before COVID, I was not a crowd person. So knowing that Lamar was specifically looking for places that we could enjoy the concert but not be in the midst, like in the crush of the crowd. So we were kind of off to the side of the concert area near the shops. And I had a not a significant bubble around me, but I had empty space. You know, people weren't bumping into me, and that just made me feel like I could really enjoy the moment without being sent into like an anxious headspace because strangers were touching me. But it was so good. And then that was Saturday night. And then Sunday, we went to go see Wicked. My friend Tiffany gifted us tickets. Well, she brought us with her to see Wicked, and neither of us had ever seen it. Like, I'm sitting in there watching it, and they got to the song, the popular song, and I was like, oh, that's where that song on TikTok is from. So I saw Wicked. It was really cool. I definitely would want to like maybe watch a video of it, because one thing I realized was that when they were like singing the songs, I could not understand hardly any words that was coming out of their mouths. I don't know what was going on with my hearing and my brain comprehension skills, but they might as well have been singing in Latin, because I was like, okay, this sounds pretty. That's all I got. But yeah, but I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, and I like retellings that give a different perspective of characters, you know, that you're so used to seeing in one particular light. So I enjoyed Wicked. It gets a thumbs up. But that is everything, friends. I'm going to edit this tonight and put it up. I'll probably put it up tomorrow. So you'll be seeing this on day 1 of the Pisces season make along. So if you decide to join in, please use the hashtag so that I can see all of your Pisces delightful gloriousness. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, weekend, week, whatever. And leave a comment down below of anything good that has happened to you. Leave a bright spot. Let me know if I should make that granny hexagon cardigan. And yeah, thank you so much for being a part of my universe, as always. Bye, friends.